Picture this. I'm standing at my kitchen window, a mug of lukewarm coffee in my hand, staring out at the same patch of grass I've seen every morning for the past 5 years. It's not a grand view, just a small garden with a few wilting daisies and a patchy lawn that I keep meaning to fix. But today, as I watch the early light spill over the quiet street, something feels off, like the air itself is holding its breath. My name's Rose, by the way, and I'm 30, living what most would call a perfectly average life in a suburban neighborhood that's as predictable as the sunrise. My husband, Ethan, and I have been married for half a decade now, tucked away in this modest 2-story house that creaks a little when the wind picks up. It's home, though, our little corner of the world, complete with that tiny garden out front I can't seem to get right. Ethan's a sales manager, always chasing the next deal, which means he's often glued to his desk at the office until the streetlights flicker on. I don't mind the solitude, not really. I've got my own rhythm, working part-time as a freelance graphic designer from the spare room upstairs. My days are a mix of sketching on my tablet, tweaking designs for clients, and running mundane errands, picking up groceries, dropping off mail, the usual. It's a quiet life, one that hums along with a kind of steady monotony. I tinker with small projects around the house, too, like repainting a shelf or reorganizing the pantry for the 3rd time this month. It keeps my hands busy, even if my mind sometimes wanders. There's not much to break the routine out here, but I've got a neighbor 2 houses down who catches my eye now and then. His name's Tom, a single guy in his late 30s who's got this rugged, no-nonsense air about him. He's a mechanic, always hunched over some car in his driveway, tools scattered around like they're an extension of himself. He's tall, with a scruffy beard that looks like it hasn't seen a trim in weeks, and his hands are perpetually smudged with grease, like he's been wrestling with engines since the day he was born. I've only exchanged a few words with him over the years, just a quick wave when I'm hauling trash cans to the curb, or a mumbled, "good morning," if we cross paths while I'm out for a walk. He's not unfriendly, just distant, like he's got his own world spinning in that head of his. Still, there's something about the way he carries himself, a kind of quiet confidence that makes you notice him, even if you don't mean to. Life with Ethan, well, it's stable. We've settled into this comfortable groove, you know, the kind where you can predict what the other will say before they even open their mouth. We've got our routines down pat. Dinner at 7. So here I am, mid-morning on a cloudy Tuesday, the kind of day that feels heavy before it even starts. I've got a grocery list scribbled on a sticky note, and I'm ready to head out, keys jangling in my hand as I step into the driveway. But then I see it. My car's front tire, slumped against the pavement like it's given up on life, the rubbers sagging pathetically, completely flat, and I just stand there for a second, blinking at it like, maybe if I stare long enough, it'll magically inflate itself. No such luck. I'm parked right here in our driveway, the gravel crunching under my sneakers, and I can already feel the frustration creeping up my spine. I've never changed a tire in my life, but I hear Ethan's voice in my head, always nudging me to figure things out on my own, to be more independent. Fine, I think. I can do this. How hard can it be? I pop the trunk, haul out the jack, the spare tire, and a rusty old lug wrench that looks like it's seen better days. I kneel down on the gravel, not even caring that my jeans are getting smeared with dirt, and I start wrestling with the lug nuts. My hands slip almost immediately, the wrench clanking against the wheel, and I scrape my knuckles on the rough metal. A sharp sting shoots through my fingers, and I mutter a few choice words under my breath, ones I wouldn't say out loud in polite company. 20 minutes pass, 20 sweaty, grunting, infuriating minutes, and I've got nothing to show for it. Not a single lug nut has budged. I can feel the heat rising to my face, sweat beading on my forehead despite the cool, overcast sky. I'm a mess, physically and mentally, feeling like a complete failure. I stand up, brushing the dirt off my knees, and let out a long, exasperated sigh. This isn't working. I'm not cut out for this, and I hate admitting it, but I need help. I glance down the street, my gaze drifting toward Tom's house. I've seen him out there plenty of times, tinkering with engines, his driveway a mess of tools and spare parts. If anyone can fix this, it's him. But the thought of asking for help gnaws at me. I don't want to be that person, the one who can't handle her own problems, always needing someone to swoop in and save the day. Still, I'm out of options. I take a deep breath, square my shoulders, and start walking the short distance to his place. My sneakers crunch against the sidewalk, each step feeling heavier than the last, like I'm dragging my pride along with me. When I get there, I spot him in his driveway, just like I expected. He's wiping down a motorcycle with a rag, his movements slow and deliberate, like he's got all the time in the world. Grease streaks as I stand there in Tom's driveway, watching him polish that motorcycle with a kind of focus I can't help but envy. I clear my throat, feeling the weight of my own inadequacy pressing down on me. He looks up, those sharp hazel eyes meeting mine, and for a split second, I forget why I'm even here. I stammer out my problem, explaining the flat tire and my complete failure to fix it, and to my relief, he doesn't smirk or make me feel small. Instead, he just nods, tosses the rag aside, and grabs a small toolbox from the ground. "Let's take a look," he says, his voice low and gravelly, like he's used to solving problems without much fuss. We walk back to my driveway together, the silence between us oddly comfortable, though I'm hyper-aware of every step, every brush of his arm near mine. When we reach my car, I step back, giving him space to work, and I can't help but watch in awe. There's something almost mesmerizing about the way he moves, with this effortless confidence that makes the task look like child's play. He crouches down, positions the jack under the car with a practiced ease, and pumps it up until the wheel is off the ground. Then, with a few quick twists of the wrench, he loosens the lug nuts I'd been battling for what felt like forever. His hands, rough and stained with grease, work with precision, swapping out the flat for the spare in under 10 minutes. I'm standing there, arms crossed, feeling a mix of gratitude and something else, something I can't quite name. It's like I'm seeing him for the first time, really seeing him, and I'm struck by how capable he is, how steady. When he's done, he stands up, wiping his hands on his jeans, and turns to me with a small, almost shy grin. "All set," he says, and I realize we're standing closer than I thought, close enough that I can smell the faint scent of motor oil and sweat on him. My heart's pounding, and I tell myself it's just the relief of having the tire fixed, nothing more. I thank him over and over, probably sounding like a broken record, but I can't stop. I'm so grateful, and I feel this urge to do something, anything, to show it. "Hey, why don't you come inside for a minute?" I blurt out before I can overthink it. "I can get you a glass of water or maybe a coffee. It's the least I can do after you saved my day." He hesitates, his eyes flickering with something I can't read, but then he shrugs, that casual air back in place, and nods. "Sure, why not?" he says, and follows me toward the house. My pulse is still racing as I lead him through the front door, the quiet of the empty house suddenly feeling louder, heavier, like it's pressing in on us. We step into the kitchen, and the air between us shifts, charged with something I can't ignore. I'm at the sink, filling a glass with water, and I notice my hands are trembling just a little. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Maybe it's the way he's standing there, leaning against the counter, watching me with an intensity that makes my skin prickle. I turn to hand him the glass, and our fingers brush, just for a second, but it's enough to send a jolt through me. Time seems to slow down, and before I can process what's happening, we're closer, too close, and then we're kissing. It's sudden, reckless, like a dam breaking after years of holding back. My back presses against the edge of the counter, and I'm lost in the heat of it. in the way his hands find my waist, pulling me in. It's a rush of everything I've kept buried: loneliness, frustration, a longing I didn't even know was there. I know this is wrong. I know I'm married to Ethan, that I've made promises I'm shattering right now, but in this moment, I don't care. It's like I'm standing here in the kitchen, my hands gripping the edge of the sink so tight my knuckles are turning white. It's been about 10 minutes since Tom walked out that door, his footsteps fading down the driveway, but I can still feel the weight of what just happened pressing down on me like a storm cloud ready to burst. My breathing is shallow, ragged, and I'm trying to steady it, to pull myself together, but it's no use. I catch a glimpse of my reflection in the window above the sink, and I barely recognize myself. My face is pale, almost ghostly, my eyes wide and haunted, like I've seen something I can't unsee. And in a way, I have. I can't stop replaying those moments with Tom, the way everything spiraled out of control so fast, like a car skidding off the road with no way to stop it. The memory of his touch, the heat of that forbidden rush, it's burned into me, and I feel sick with the mix of guilt and fear churning in my gut. What if Ethan finds out? What if Tom says something, even by accident? The thought sends a shiver down my spine, cold and sharp, like ice water dumped over my head. Ethan's not the type to let something like this slide. He's got a way of noticing the smallest cracks in my facade, always asking questions when I least expect it. I can already imagine the look on his face, the hurt, the betrayal, and it twists something deep inside me. I've never kept a secret this big from him, never had to. Our life together, it's been steady, predictable, built on trust, or at least I thought it was. Now I've shattered that in a matter of minutes, and I don't know how to put the pieces back together. I turn on the faucet, letting the cold water rush over my hands, and then I splash it on my face, hoping the shock of it will snap me out of this spiral. The droplets sting against my skin, but it's not enough to wash away the mess I've made. I grab a towel, patting my face dry, and force myself to take a deep breath. I have to get a grip. I can't let this unravel me, not now. I glance around the kitchen, my eyes darting to the counter where it all happened, where I lost myself in a moment I can't take back. It looks normal now, untouched, but I feel like the air still holds the echo of it, like the walls themselves are whispering my shame. I grab a sponge and start wiping down the surface, scrubbing harder than I need to, as if I can erase the evidence of my mistake with enough elbow grease. My movements are frantic, almost desperate, the damp cloth sliding over every inch of the counter, then the sink, then the edges where my back had pressed against the cold granite. I'm trying to clean away more than just imaginary traces. I'm trying to scrub out the memory, the guilt, but it's not working. My hands are shaking again, and I drop the sponge into the sink, letting out a shaky breath. I need to pull myself together. Ethan will be home soon, and I can't let him see me like this, a nervous wreck with guilt written all over my face. I walk out of the kitchen, my steps unsteady, and head to the hallway mirror near the front door. I stop in front of it, staring at my reflection under the dim light of the overhead bulb. My hair is a mess, strands sticking out like I've been running my hands through it too many times, and my eyes are still too wide, too telling. I smooth my hair down with trembling fingers, tucking it behind my ears, and force a smile, testing it out to see if I can fake normalcy. The corners of my mouth lift, but it doesn't reach my eyes. It looks hollow, rehearsed, like I'm wearing a mask that doesn't quite fit. I try again, softening the edges, tilting my head a little, but it's no use. I look like someone with something to hide, and I hate that I can see it so clearly. My heart is pounding now, a relentless drumbeat. I'm still standing in the hallway, my reflection staring back at me like a stranger, when I hear the faint sound of a car pulling into the driveway. My heart lurches, a sharp jolt that nearly knocks the breath out of me. It's Ethan. I can tell by the familiar rumble of his engine, the way it cuts off with that little sputter before going silent. I glance at the clock on the wall, Earlier than I expected, but not by much. The day's slipping into evening now, the light outside turning a soft gray, and I'm nowhere near ready to face him. My hands are still shaky as I smooth my shirt, trying to erase any sign of the chaos I've been drowning in for hours. I take one last look in the mirror, forcing my face into something that resembles calm, even if my insides are a tangled mess of dread and guilt. I shuffle back to the kitchen, my steps heavy, like I'm wading through quicksand. I need to look busy, normal, like nothing's wrong. I grab a dish from the counter, one I've already cleaned twice today, and turn on the faucet, letting the water run over it as if I've got a purpose. The sound of the front door opening echoes through the house, followed by the familiar jingle of Ethan's keys hitting the entry table. My stomach twists tighter, a knot I can't unravel, and I brace myself. His footsteps are steady, unhurried, as he makes his way toward me. I can almost picture him loosening his tie, that little habit of his after a long day at the office, and I know I have to play my part, no matter how much it hurts. "Hey, honey," I call out, my voice thinner than I'd like, but I hope it passes as casual. I don't turn around right away, keeping my focus on the dish in my hands, scrubbing at an invisible spot just to avoid his eyes. He steps into the kitchen, and I can feel his presence behind me, warm and familiar, yet somehow suffocating in this moment. "Hey, babe," he replies, his tone carrying that tired but genuine warmth I've always loved. I force myself to glance over my shoulder, catching sight of him as he tugs at his tie, letting it hang loose around his neck. His face lights up with a small, weary smile when our eyes meet, and it's like a punch to the gut. That smile, it's so trusting, so undeserved right now. I manage to curve my lips upward in return, though it feels like a lie etched onto my face, and I quickly turn back to the sink, hoping he doesn't notice the strain in my expression. "How was your day?" he asks, his voice closer now as he steps toward the fridge, probably grabbing a bottle of water like he always does. My mind scrambles for something to say, anything that won't crack under scrutiny. "Oh, just the usual," I mumble, keeping my hands busy with the dish, the water splashing a little too loudly. "Ran some errands, kept myself occupied." It's vague, deliberately so, and I pray he doesn't press for details. I can't look at him, not yet. My chest feels tight, like I'm holding my breath underwater, waiting for the surface to break. I hear him pop the cap off the bottle, the faint glug of him taking a sip, and then he moves closer to the window above the sink, right beside me. My heart stumbles as I realize what he's looking at. My car, parked in the driveway, the spare tire glaringly obvious even in the fading light. "Hey, did you have a flat today?" he asks, his tone curious but not accusing, just observant. My entire body freezes for a split second, the dish slipping slightly in my wet hands, but I catch it before it clatters into the sink. I nod, forcing my voice to stay steady as I reply, "Yeah, I took care of it myself this morning." The lie slips out so easily, too easily, and I hate how natural it feels on my tongue. I turn off the faucet, drying my hands on a towel, and I'm still in the kitchen, the weight of the day pressing down on me like a heavy fog as the evening settles in. The house is quiet now, save for the faint creak of floorboards upstairs where Ethan is moving around, probably unwinding after dinner. I'm sitting at the small wooden table, a cup of tea cradled in my hands, though I haven't taken a single sip. It's just something to hold on to, something to anchor me while my mind races in 1,000 different directions. The steam rises in lazy curls, dissipating into the dim light of the room, and I stare at it, trying to find some kind of clarity in the haze, but there's none to be found. Not after today, not after what I've done. I can't stop thinking about Tom, about those stolen moments earlier, the rush of something forbidden that surged through me like wildfire. It was a fleeting thrill, a spark that ignited and burned out just as quickly, leaving behind nothing but ashes and a gnawing dread that sits heavy in my chest. I keep replaying it in my head, the way everything unfolded so fast, like I was caught in a current I couldn't swim against. The memory of his closeness, the heat of that reckless connection. It's still there, lingering on my skin like a phantom touch, and I hate how it makes my heart race even now, hours later. But more than that, I hate the fear that's taken its place. What if he talks? What if someone saw something, noticed him leaving my house at the wrong time? Will this stay a one-time mistake? A secret buried in the quiet of this kitchen? Or is it the start of something I can't control? Something that will unravel everything I've built? My gaze drifts to the empty chair across from me, where Ethan usually sits during our late-night talks over coffee or tea, sharing the mundane details of our days. I think about him, about that trusting smile he gave me just a little while ago when he got home, the one that cut me deeper than any words could. He doesn't know. He can't know. But I've shattered the foundation of our marriage in a way that feels irreparable, even if the cracks are hidden for now. Every time I look at him, I see the life we've made together. 5 years of quiet mornings, shared laughter, and plans for a future that suddenly feels so fragile. I've betrayed that. I've betrayed him. And the worst part is, I don't know if I can live with the weight of this lie pressing down on me day after day. Should I tell him? The question gnaws at me, sharp and relentless, like a splinter I can't pull out. Part of me wonders if confessing would lift this burden, if the truth could somehow set me free from the suffocating guilt that's wrapped around my heart. Maybe it would be a chance to rebuild, to face the consequences head on and salvage whatever's left. But then I imagine his face, the way it would crumple with hurt, the way his eyes would search mine for an explanation I don't have. I picture the silence that would follow, thicker and heavier than anything I've ever felt, and the thought of losing him, of seeing him walk away, paralyzes me. I can't bear the idea of our home becoming a hollow shell, of waking up to a life without him in it. So I sit here, frozen, torn between the urge to unburden myself and the terror of what that honesty might cost. I take a shaky breath, my fingers tightening around the untouched cup of tea, the ceramic cool against my palms. The kitchen feels smaller now, like the walls are inching closer with every passing second, trapping me in this cycle of regret and uncertainty. I glance at the counter again, the spot where everything changed, and even though I scrubbed it clean earlier, I can still feel the echo of that moment, like it's imprinted in the air itself. I wonder if I'll ever be able to stand there again without remembering, without feeling the sting of my own weakness. How did I let myself fall so far, so fast? Was it loneliness? A need for something more than the steady rhythm of my "Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed this story. This will help us create more engaging stories for you."